Hey there, in today's video I'm going to share with you the top 15 things you need to know if you're moving to Utah this year. So stay tuned. Welcome back everybody, I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. If you want to learn everything about what it's like here in Salt Lake City or the great state of Utah, please click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a lot of people lately that are reaching out to me about making that move here to Utah, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I've got your back if you're moving here to Utah. So number one on my list that you need to know about is our weather. And Utah has all four seasons. So you're going to have a real summer, real spring, real fall, and a winter time with snow. So depending upon where you choose to live in the state of Utah, you're going to have either more milder winters or milder summers or hotter summers, all of that. So it really just depends. And that's one of the things that we definitely help you with depending upon where you're going to be moving. The further north you go, typically the more snow you're going to deal with. But in all four seasons, we do get warm weather in the state of Utah. The further north, of course, it's going to be a little cooler. And the further east and south, it gets a little warmer in some of the areas like Moab and St. George would be the warmest areas. But it gets hot here in Utah because we are in a desert. The next thing that you need to be aware of is the outdoors here in Utah. So that's why that's number 2 on my list. So this is one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reasons, that everybody is making that move to Utah. They want to do stuff in the outdoors. In the wintertime, you have all the winter sports and winter things you get to do, from snow skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, cross country skiing, tubing, sledding, even ice fishing you can do here in Utah. And that's on my list for something to go do. Just need to get the ice cutter, I guess, and then figure out which lakes are the best ones to go to. But I know I need to be up higher in the mountains so that I make sure it's got thick enough ice to deal with. The rest of the year, you're going to be able to go hiking and camp. You're going to be able to fish, both fly, lake, stream, river fishing. We have some of the best river fishing here anywhere in the nation. I know Montana and Wyoming also have great rivers to fish in, but we have some great ones here as well. We also have a lot of lakes or little ponds that are going to be in the community that you choose to live in, which is super awesome. We go to the one near us all the time, and we love to go fishing, so I'll take my kids. So just make sure you get a fishing license, of course, so you don't get in trouble for that. But there's lots of different things you're going to be able to do. Mountain biking, and many more things in the outdoors. Really, the only thing we can't do here in Utah is anything that requires an ocean, since we don't have that. So you're going to have to go, to the West Coast to get to an ocean, or down to Texas. We have 5 national parks here that you can go visit, and some other cool places like Goblin Valley, which is on my list to go see this summer. So we'll see if I can make it there, and I'll try and post a little bit of a sniblet of that in one of my videos. The number 3 thing that you need to know about is our great colleges here in Utah. There's a number of good colleges all throughout the state, whether you're in southern Utah, middle of Utah, or in the Salt Lake City area. There's lots of good colleges for you to go to, and they're reasonably priced. And in fact, they're pretty affordable compared to other states' colleges. So that may be something that you're looking into. So whether you want to go to college or you have children that would be going to college in the future, this is just something that's a big perk of living in Utah. The number 4 thing that you need to know about when living in Utah is our taxes here. And we have a flat tax in the state of Utah, which means no matter how much money you make, you're going to be paying the same amount. So they don't gouge you because you make more money. They all charge you the same. We have a lower sales tax as well. They do tax Social Security income here, so you need to be aware of that. And I recommend that most people that are moving here, if taxes are important to you, that you reach out to a tax professional, CPA, whoever does your taxes, and find out what the tax ramifications are of living in the state of Utah. The number 5 thing that you need to be aware of is our great public transportation. And should you decide to live in the Salt Lake City region area where I'm at and I specialize in, we have the track system, which is kind of like a light rail system that'll get you all over the place. Super cool. My son Nathan just took the red line from where we live all the way into Salt Lake City. Then he switched to the front runner train and took that north into, I think, Layton. And he had to go to a school event. And then he took a bus from there over to the event. And then he did it in reverse all the way home. He wanted to try it out and see what it's like since he's going to be going to college this next year. And he wanted to know how the tracks would be like. Would he want to ride that home? And I think he's pretty impressed by it and was super excited to ride it. His only complaint was the Wi-Fi wasn't working on one of the front runner trains, so it was working on the other one. Number 6 thing that you need to be aware of when living in Utah is our relaxed gun laws. It's a shall issue state for concealed carry permits, and gun ownership is pretty widespread here in the state. So depending upon what your stance for guns, this may be a good thing or a bad thing for you. I'll leave that up to you to decide, but that's just something that you need to be aware of. And that brings us to number 7, and that's Utah is very family friendly, family focused. Number 1 in the nation for the youngest age. I think our average age is like 31 years here in the state. We're in the top 5 for number of births in the nation. You'd be surprised to learn probably that North Dakota and South Dakota are, I believe, number 1 and number 2 on that list. And, you know, it's so cold there. Who would have thought that they would have the most births? The number 8 thing that you should know about, this is kind of a fun thing, and that's all the soda companies and cookie companies that are here in Utah. And so when we moved here, we didn't realize that there were that many cookie companies. We'd heard of Crumble and eaten there, great cookies, but there are a number of other companies that are here. There's probably 8 or 9 different cookie companies in the state. I guess Crumble started here, so maybe that's part of it. And then we would see these soda places. So the soda, it would be called, one of them is called Sodalicious. And what you're going to notice from those is it's sort of like a Starbucks, but it's for soda. And they just have all the different flavorings of soda. So if you want, you know, your coconut spearmint flavored Coke, then you can get it there. So that's what they're all about. They also have pretty good cookies at them as well. The number 9 thing you need to be aware of is all the lakes that we have in Utah. We have a massive amount of lakes that you're going to be able to enjoy, whether you want to water ski or boat on them or fish in them or kayak and paddleboard. Our favorite thing to use the reservoirs for is to go out and paddleboard on. My kids really enjoy paddleboarding. My wife really likes to kayak. And so we will go out to the lakes a few times during the summer and just have a great time. If you get there early, you can get a nice little spot near the shoreline and then set up your canopy because it's hot and you're going to want some shade. So I highly recommend some sort of canopy and just enjoy the lakes that we have. The number 10 thing that you need to be aware of, and this is one of the biggest issues or one of the biggest things people ask me about, and that's the LDS Mormon influence over the entire state of Utah. A lot of people seem to see this as a super negative thing, but there are positives to it as well. While we've been here, we haven't noticed it be such a major ordeal. When we first got here, I want to say the first year, there were less people shopping on Sunday. It used to be like the best day of the week to shop. We'd go grocery shopping and there would be like half the amount of people. Well, it seems like a lot of people still shop on Sunday. There's less, but there's still a lot of people shopping that maybe shouldn't be shopping on Sunday. Just you're going to know that you can't buy a car on Sunday here in Utah because that system is closed down and all the dealerships are closed, which makes it a great time for you to cruise the lot or walk around and look at cars without some of the sales reps bothering you when you want to buy a car. But just know that you can't do that. And then there's a bunch of other different businesses that are closed on Sundays. Chick-fil-A, of course, is closed on Sunday nationwide, but other places are closed as well. The number 11 thing you need to know about is in Lehi, Utah, which is just south of Salt Lake City. There's a place called Silicon Slopes, and this is where a lot of the tech companies are located. We have like Adobe and a bunch of different ones that are in Lehi. But so if you're in the tech field or you want to get into the tech field, you want to start a tech company, living near Lehi might be the right choice for you. And that's definitely something we can talk about again if you reach out to us. The number 12 thing you should know about is we are in a high elevation, high desert. So what this means is you're going to need lots of chapstick because your lips are going to get dry. You're going to need lots of lotion because your legs and arms are going to get really dry here. You're going to need to drink lots of water to stay hydrated. And you may feel like you don't need sunscreen. However, take it from me and my first year here when we went to the lakes and we're outdoor hiking, you really need to make sure you're applying your sunscreen here, even though it doesn't feel like you need it because it's maybe isn't as hot as it should be, but you're going to need it. The number 13 thing is something a lot of people don't think about that move here from California or other areas where you're near the ocean, and that's that we are landlocked. So you're about 12 hours away from the nearest ocean in, the Southern California, which isn't too bad, or, about a 2-hour flight. Not really a big deal. So we thought it would be a bigger ordeal when we moved here and didn't have the ocean, but if we want the ocean, we just can take a quick trip out to California, visit some family, and hit the beach for a few days, and then come back to the great state of Utah. The number 14 thing on my list is our traffic, and our drivers here are awful. I've lived in a few different states, and I feel like Utah has some of the worst drivers, if not the worst drivers, anywhere. The newest trend is really for people to run red lights here. And one of the lights for me going home last night, it let 3 cars go through. There were about 15 of us, so I had to sit through like 4 light changes before I finally could go through the light. So I guess I understand whoever's running the timing system of some of the lights needs to, drive a little bit or adjust some of the timing. But just know that that's a thing here. And then you're going to have people that drive really, really fast in the state of Utah, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour on the freeway. They don't like to signal. Just lots of different things that have to do with driving. If you have poor drivers in your area, please comment below and let me know which state you are and what you think of your drivers. As far as traffic goes, traffic is just getting worse every year. More and more people move to the state of Utah. More and more people, or more and more building is being done, which adds more and more people, which is going to create more and more traffic. So unless they expand the freeways or other side roads and highways, we're going to keep having a traffic issue. The other thing they could do would be to put in more public transportation potentially for people to use that and maybe incentivize you to use it. But you kind of have to work or live near one of the stations where it makes sense. So it's kind of tough, I guess, for that goes. That leads me to number 15 on my list, and that's the healthcare here in Utah. So when we moved from Tennessee to here, Tennessee has pretty good healthcare as well. Vanderbilt is there. We, got hooked up with our healthcare here, and we've found it to be really, really good. And anyone that I've talked to and any clients that we've helped have really liked the healthcare here in Utah. So I would say we have pretty good healthcare here. It's a great place for living and everything else. So hopefully these 15 things make you still want to move here to Utah this year. And if that's the case, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and help you purchase a home here in Utah, whether it's an existing home or new construction home. We can talk all about the pros and cons of that, whether you're moving to St. George or Moab or Salt Lake City area or Park City or Northern Utah, wherever you're planning to move. I can either help you there or I can put you in touch with a great real estate agent in the area that can help take great care of you just like I would. See you next time.